Hey everybody, once again, thank you for tuning in to Mothers Unfiltered. I have my co-host Ty, woo-hoo-hoo, and my lovely guest, Shannett. She's been with us in multitude of episodes that we've had and always at the right time. We're going to jump into everything, but before I do, I just want to pass the mic to Ty to say what's up.
Hello, everyone. So today's the last day we're streaming on my personal Facebook page. Yes. So if you are not a subscriber on YouTube, please go to YouTube, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell button so you get the alert when we're streaming live, when we have updates, And next week we have a very special guest, but I won't tell you who. You have to wait. Oh, and we have an Instagram page, Mothers Unfiltered LLC, Instagram. And that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thank you, Shannett, for coming in. Thank you for the listeners that tune in now, tune in later. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. I always want this podcast just to be a simple conversation where we're able to just discuss what's on our mind. And what comes to mind right now is what the fuck? What the hell? What is going on? And I mean, every day is a new development. I definitely want to say rest in peace to Alex Trebek. We grew up with him watching Jeopardy. That was the way that we found out if we were smart or not, because there was some challenging questions. But what is going on? How do we take this all in and still manage our day-to-day jobs and still be the wife, husband, spouse, just all the things that we're supposed to be? What do we do now? This has been anxiety. I think it's the week. The week has been crazy.
It's been more than a week. It's been like a period of time, just a long stretch of period of time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be back on Mothers Unfiltered. You guys are doing an awesome job and have a wonderful platform so that we can have regular conversation and unfiltered conversation. So you ask what the hell is going on, right? A lot is going on, but remember previous episodes, we talked about the fact that there is no normal, right? That there was not going to be a going back to normal. And so thank you again for having me on this show, because this is about debriefing, right? Mm-hmm. And what is debriefing about? Well, debriefing is about after the mission is done, right? It's about getting together and having that discussion where we're able to focus on what did we do right? What did we do wrong, right? What can we do better? And what can we do better as individuals, as a community, as a country, as a people, right? We've got people in the streets right now celebrating because of the outcome of the election. We've got people out in the streets protesting because of the election. There are people who are happy. There are people who are upset. There are people who feel a sense of relief for a moment. I think one of you guys just said that, like, there's been so much going on. Dave Chappelle did an opening, I believe, on Saturday Night Live on yesterday. And, one of the things that he mentioned was, and, he says, thank goodness for COVID. And it was almost as if, some people laughed, some people didn't. But just think about the fact that COVID came into our lives at a time where so much was already going on. Mm-hmm. And it's like COVID really took the main stage to that. And then just recently, we've had a very tumultuous time with our election, right? Mm-hmm. And so that has taken a lot of our focus on what is going on. And it's like a whirlwind has happened. And now, is this the quiet before the storm, or is this time to rebuild, to refocus, as we spoke about previously, and to get it together? So let me ask you guys this. What is it that you think the people are feeling more of right now?
You want to take that, Ty?
I don't even know. I mean, my first thing would it could be a lot of different things, anger, confusion, worry in anything, panic.
I think that based on from which demographic you're looking at, well, and not even that, from which political viewpoint you're looking at, it could be a sigh of relief, a back to normalcy in some ways, and then it's just like you said, the quiet before the storm. It's really interesting, and I'm glad you asked that question, because it was my segue into asking you a question. Friendships. So here you have a lot of people saying, you know what, we're one nation. We're, you're blue, I'm red, or I'm both colors, or whatever you're saying. How do we make this work? At the end of the day, how do you make a friendship work knowing that you have a person who would support the president, knowing that the president per se doesn't have your best interest in mind? Or let's just say, you happen to look on Facebook and you see your homegirl say, you know what? George Floyd ain't died because of no police officer. It was because he was doing them drugs and and making these excuses. How do you look past that and say, you know what, I have this beautiful friendship with Mary, so let me ignore it. How do you forget those things? Because at the end of the day, George Floyd could have been anybody's son, husband, uncle.
Could we add race to that as well? Because for me, that might make a tad bit of a difference on how I address it. If it was, a person of color that I versus a person who is not of color, I might dismiss one easier and faster than I dismiss the other. So that's why I'm putting it out there in regards to race.
Okay. I mean, that's fair that we put it out there in regard to anything. That I've got a friend who might be an animal lover and somebody else might not like animals at all. We as people have all these differences. And what's important in friendship and relationship is that we have a mutual respect for one another. That doesn't mean that you agree with me. It doesn't mean that I agree with you. It means that I accept that you have the right to be you. And as long as being you does not hurt me or other people, then that's okay. Now, that means that there might be some differences in the friendship. For instance, just recently you might have found out that your friend is not an animal lover and you were going to invite that friend to the doggy park. Well, now you guys are not going to do that, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't other things that you can share. It doesn't mean that there aren't other interactions that you can still have. And it's up to you. As you said about race, if that's a deal breaker for you, right?
No, that I'm not saying that would be like a deal breaker for me. That would be a factor in my decision, and also along with the actual conversation.
I mean,
I try to look at it all the way around before I give a real like baseline answer for me.
I really want to keep it 100, and I have to say, so I mean, this is me. I love everybody. I'm going to treat everybody with respect, everybody with dignity, and give them their time and their space to show me who you are. Because at the end of the day, sometimes a person not saying anything can just be as worse as you saying something. I mean, if you know that there is racism, if you know that there's bigotry and xenophobia and all types of and sexism and all types of stuff, but you still make excuses for that individual, you still make passes for that kind of puts me on alert. Like, who are you really representing for? I guess I take it back, like kind of like right now, it's good to compartmentalize people. Like, you know what, I could borrow money from Ty right now, but I know when it comes to that whole money thing, I don't know, I love her, but I can't rock with her with money. But then when it comes to Shannett, I could do this. So you put these people in categories, but at the same time, it's like, would you hold me down if it all, went to hell? If we were about to get into a fight, do you have my back? Are you going to be there for me? And if you're telling me right now, well, you're an animal lover and I'm not, you may have some vicious dogs or something. They love you, but they may attack me. I'm not.
Who you talking about?
I mean, I was looking at the comments as you live.
Wait,
Listen,
I don't know
I
me too
get it,
well.
but listen, that's just what we do anyway, though. We do that. We find out that our coworker is cool until we find out that our coworker beats his wife. Then he's not cool anymore. We don't want to go bowling with him. We don't want to sit with him at lunch. We work with him. We say hi to him, and we keep it pushing. And that's the extent of the relationship that we choose to have with them. So that's all I'm saying is that you choose how cool you want to be with somebody. You choose that, okay, we've got different religious beliefs, and that's okay. And you might choose that we've got different religious beliefs, and that's not okay. I can't sit with someone, I can't break bread with someone who believes this or that. If that's how you feel, that's you. And that's
Mhm,
okay. That's
mhm.
okay. There are enough people in the world who think differently, and there are enough people in the world who might think the same. So believe me, you'll have somebody to sit with your belief. You won't be alone in it, is what I'm
True.
saying. And so we can spare those who are so different from us that in some way it harms us. That's what I'm saying. If it doesn't hurt you, okay, you say, well, I don't eat meat. Okay, so I'm having a ham sandwich, and you say, well, I don't eat pork. Okay, so you're having a chicken salad, and I say, well, I don't eat salad. Okay, but we can't all sit at that table together. Don't put your ham sandwich on my chicken salad, and we're okay. Don't impose on my right to have what I'm having, and I won't impose on your right to have what you're having.
but
And I mean, that's what's here.
I could also understand the like, it what Kia was saying before, like the political view. I mean, most of these political views directly affect certain
Groups of people.
groups of people in an oppressive and very dangerous way. So, there's a difference when it's like, animal, not animal, you're talking about human life,
Hmm.
and
Right.
safety versus, so again, like just trying to think about it as a whole. It's hard to give for me, a baseline or general answer because you have to think about the impact of it, who you're dealing with, the situation. It's different.
It is different, but it's no. What I'm saying is that it's no different from what we've always done. There are some people who do not believe that individuals of the same sex should be married. They felt that
True.
way since the beginning of time. Laws have been passed that allow for same sex marriages. And there are people who still disagree. They are angry about it. They refuse to fraternize with people who agree with it. And that's their choice. What you're saying is that there are people who agree with things that hurt me, right? There are
Right.
people who agree, there might be people who agree that we don't have an emissions problem, right? Let's drive as many cars as we can, let's burn up as much fuel as we can, no big problem. And you're saying, and there's a group of people who are saying, these emissions are hurting us.
Mhm.
So let's get to the meat and potatoes of what is it that we're really talking about?
Mhm.
We're talking about being hurt. We're not actually hurt by somebody's opinion. I mean, right? We're
Well,
not actually hurt about somebody's
I guess
thoughts
what would
of
be
what a
hurtful.
political person is doing.
Well, I think from my perspective, what would be hurtful if I knew hypothetical. So I'm friends with Mary for these 8 years, and we're rocking it out. And then when it comes to these political questions, and these scenarios that pop up, I find out that she doesn't have that same viewpoint, and the things that she does believe in can be detrimental to me and my family. And it's kind of like, well,
Can you give me an example of what one of those things might be, just to
I
help
mean,
me
I
to
gave you an example
understand?
about the police. So, you let's just take
So let's say that Mary feels like the police are doing the right thing, and if people
well,
get killed, then hey,
you hear the
right?
scenario. All you got to do is comply. The police officers stop, give me your license, do this, all this back talk you're doing and trying to be fresh.
Hmm.
Why don't maybe if the parents raise the kids a little bit better,
Hmm.
and so you're looking like, well,
Right.
wait a second
So
now,
Mary
Mary.
So Mary's belief is that based off of her experiences, right, and based off of her reality. And then
Okay.
we talked about educating our friends and talking to her
Yeah.
about what your experience is and what your reality
Yeah.
is.
We
And
did.
then if she doesn't choose to open up her mind and realize that there is a different perspective and that perhaps she doesn't know the other side of it, because that's how friends learn and grow together, right? Oh, I didn't know that was something that hurt your feelings, or I didn't know that this was meaningful to you, or whatever the case may be. But if
Mhm.
that doesn't happen, and then she is a person who is, uh, uh, say, rioting in your neighborhood and destroying your property and causing potential harm to you, then of course I would say maybe Mary not your friend. But if
Right.
Mary's opinion, sitting in your living room drinking iced tea, is saying, "Well, Kia, I just think they should have complied," how does that truly hurt you?
Ooh, okay. So wait a minute.
I know I turned this thing around a little
Exactly.
bit, right?
So we are talking about your opinion affecting my life. So can I just say that's the answer to the question?
Mhm.
It's your opinion, your not even opinion, but your opinion, your perception negatively impacting my life, my child's life, my cousin's life,
Well,
my
well, well. The thing that I'm hammering here at, and I know I'm getting on your
and
nerves
I
a bit,
do
but
think
I'm
there's
saying
like,
I want you to tell
feeling
me. But
good.
listen, what I'm wanting you guys to do is name the action or behavior that is occurring that is hurting you, because it's not an
Wait, wait,
opinion. An
wait, wait.
opinion is
Okay.
a thought. So I
Well,
think that your glasses are ugly, and maybe you say, well, that hurt my feelings that she thinks my glasses are ugly, but that doesn't take away from your ability to wear the glasses or enjoy the glasses.
so a true story would be, and they're not disclosing any names. Somebody was letting me know a family member came to them about, especially when all these riots and stuff was going on. Like, why don't Black people raise their kids a little better? Like, maybe if you just raise them better, these
Mhm,
things won't happen. So
mhm.
when you think about holiday festivities and Thanksgiving's coming up, she's gonna come over soon. I don't want that heifer in my house talking about why don't we raise
So
our
then,
kids better.
Okay,
did you
so
did you
that
did you
is
take the
this where
opportunity
that's coming from?
to
Is this
educate but this is where you have an opportunity to have a conversation. So this person says, well, if you raise your kids better,
true?
and then you get a chance to ask and find out, because in order to be understood, we have to seek understanding. So let us understand, Mary, where you get that from? Mary, where you get that from? Where you think that raising? So, what is it about the way that I raised my child that you think there's a deficit or that leads to this type of behavior, whatever? Have the conversation, and then Mary might be educated on something.
But
Mary
what I'm
might
trying
find out that she had preconceived notions.
but what I'm trying to say is, let's just say you had that conversation multitude of
Okay,
times and it made no sense,
okay.
and Mary still kind of, I don't think Mary could come over for Thanksgiving anymore. I don't think that
And that is just fine.
I mean,
That is just fine.
obviously the ending decision would be up to you. And if you feel at this
Right.
point that there's no way to move forward, then she don't come
Hmm.
over for Thanksgiving
That's
dinner.
right. She can't
So,
have the. That's
So
right.
that.
let
She
me
don't get the
stop you
pie.
guys. Let me stop you guys. So now you always hear on the news and it says, hey, we have to have these uncomfortable conversations. That's how we get past it, right? And we explain to each other and see the different perspectives. But especially when you have somebody in power and somebody who makes decision makers, it seems like they want to have the conversations, but they don't want to change the policies. Because at the end of the day, everyone's so super happy about President Biden elect. And guess what? Let's just say, Trump takes everything to Supreme Court. Everything is, smashed and it is what it is. We have a new official president officially, and it's Biden. So when do we get to ask those questions about, hey, holding him accountable? Like, hey, the Black vote was the vote that got you in the office. When do we get to hold people accountable instead of just having those
This
nice
is
conversations? You Okay, go
this
ahead.
is the purpose of this debriefing. Thank you so much. Now we get into it, because this is what I'm talking about. We came in, we had this mission, right? And then debriefing is after the mission, everybody get together and we say, okay, how we do. So if people are feeling like we won, we got the president that we wanted in there. So now what? What is it that we are expecting to happen? What actions are we willing to take? What are your demands? Well, then, Ty, I heard you say a couple weeks ago, we're tired of asking. Okay, then what are you taking? What are you doing? What's your action? What is the individual's next move?
But that's what I think we need to sit down and get together, either individually or collectively. Well, really collectively, like, Kia stated changing policies. And here's
Hmm.
where I'm at. We have policies, we have laws. We don't need to change the policies. We need to make the people that are supposed to enforce those that are already put in place accountable, so they
Very
can
good.
make the system accountable. This is what I
Very good.
realize. I also realize that, in my personal opinion, where we go wrong sometimes, one of the many things we do is we're each fighting for our own separate passion, interest, target community group. So when you're fighting for one group, you're not seeing the overarching way of oppression. Oppression is oppression. You don't have to break it down into sub groups under that title. If you decided to get rid of the whole, if you decided to address the main issue that has never changed, regardless if it's racism, sexism, ageism, whatever it is, there are, all of us are part of a group that oppresses and is part of the ones being oppressed. We just don't always see it. We need to come together and actually
And
address
we talked
what it is.
about, yes, right. And this is what I believe we probably talked about in one of the earlier episodes. We talked about what are we going to do? And we talked about, some of us said, well, we need to vote. Well, now we've done that. We've voted. We've turned out great numbers and we voted. But the fight is
Right.
not over,
What's next?
right? That's phase
No, it's
one. Okay, it's a lot of work to be done. A lot of people are congratulating Stacey Abrams for turning the state of Georgia blue and for getting out there and doing some work. But guess what? The work is not over. It's not
not.
over because a certain senator is in a seat or because the House is this or that. It's not over until the laws that were written are actually doing what they're written to do for all people. And that's where we talked about dismantling a system, whether it's
Mhm.
systematic racism or whatever it is. We're talking about we have to tear down and build up. So now ask yourselves as individuals, because when we look at it as a system, some people feel like, oh, that's too big for me to undertake. That's too big of an undertaking for me to think that I can do that. Most people just learned that their vote counts, right? So they're not thinking that they can do anything about a full system. But what can you do within yourself? What can you do within your town? What can you do within your school? If you go to your child's school and you're not happy about the condition of the books, what are you
Right.
doing about it? Are you on social media talking about it? Are you
Well,
writing someone at the Board of Education about it? Are you
that's it.
advocating for the things that you want to see change?
That is the unfortunate thing that I personally feel that is going to go right back to the way we was. So we all were in an uproar about Trump. Oh my God, Trump, Trump, Trump. He's the worst. He's the worst ever. Oh my God, my God. And so then we voted. But when we found out that he won and, it's announced and everybody's cheering, what I seen on social media and some of the people that I personally know is like, okay, back to that normalcy. But when they said that, I had a funny feeling that it's like, okay, I could go back about to, like back on my normal routine, my life. Like, okay, I can stop marching. I can stop holding people accountable. I'm just going to, woohoo, back to like as if COVID never happened or one of those type of scenarios. And it's like, wait a second, you can't be complacent now that Biden's in here. Like, okay, We got somebody who ain't that racist. I mean, he got his flaws. We know Biden. Mm-hmm. But, we're just going to chill back. I mean, how do you get...
Yes.
And that's the sadness in it. Go ahead.
This is the sadness in it. This is the sadness. I'm sorry, Ty. I was just going to say, this is not only the sadness about the election, but about everything. Remember the fervor by which people were out in the streets about the senseless killings of innocent people. The way that people were all on Facebook and protesting and Breonna Taylor, and then silence. Now, I'm not saying that you've got to wear a t-shirt every day for the rest of your life, but I'm saying that t-shirt wearing requires something else. You wear the t-shirt to get the attention. And then once you get the attention, there's got to be an action. And I think that people become inactive after, as you said, a small victory. They'll see that, well, we made progress. We did it. Good job. And everybody goes home and goes back and sits down. Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
Can I just say, for me, on the flip side, even I think about the word dismantling. So I think about all the chaos and the riots and the murders and the cages. We could go on, right? But I feel like out of this chaos, we're going to, and we are in the process of building greatness. Like, example, look at what all of this chaos has done for us right here on this live.
Mm-hmm.
We built a platform for people just to be them. So again, there's a sadness, but there's a light and a shine that's growing. We had more people of color and young folk that went out and voted. They see what's going on. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of them that fall off, but even though we don't see what's going on social media, because that's our norm. So if it's not on social media, that means it's not happening. People are still doing things all around the world that doesn't get shown on social media. I personally don't think that we've stopped. And I think when we continue to do things like this and grow as Black women, men of color, that we become stronger. We're learning. Dismantling this system is not something that you can write down step by step. Every single thing we go through on a day-to-day basis changes. So everything we do has to change to adjust to those changes. There's no real perfect way of doing it.
No, and totally agree. I of course, things are getting displeased. I know plenty of people that do not have social media at all, and they're doing lots of things. I just think that, and I do really believe in our youth. I do really believe that they are taking the torch and they're leading the way. Some years ago, there was no such thing as Black Lives Matter, the actual group.
Right.
We were marching, singing, we shall overcome, so it was a different tone and a different approach. All I can do is hope, in the process of realizing that this is our new norm, that the fight continues on and we go from there. Backtracking a little bit, Shannett. So on Saturday, we found out that Biden, ended up winning, and he is now the president-elect. But at the end of the day, Trump is still actually the president. And I was a little bit worried. I was like, wait a second. He is somebody who is a narcissist. He is somebody who has all types of issues, and he doesn't like to lose. He's been the CEO of all his companies. He's never actually had to work for anybody. So he tells the people when they're fired. No one tells them, tells him. So I know he has some type of sense of embarrassment. He always tweets and stuff, but they said this Monday he's going to go out. And, that's when the lawyers are going to hit the road, with the whole stuff at the Supreme Court. Do you think that now that all this is happening on his end and he's trying to show face, that if he truly finds out that this is his last run, he's going to do so much crazy crap that he possibly can to go out with a bang. Do you think that's possible, or do you think, like, are we crossing our fingers, or?
The true answer that I have for you is that I think that anything's possible. I mean, the reality is this: Joe Biden would be the 46th president of the United States, meaning that we've had 46 presidents, and in the time that we've had those presidents, we've seen change for Black people, we've seen change for women, we've seen change for all people in this country. Um, and we've been moving forward. We've been progressive, if you will. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't much matter who's sitting in the seat. It truly is the people that make things happen. You've seen this. You've seen it with the protests. You've seen it with the voter turnout. You've seen it with all of the things that we've talked about, these changes that we've noticed in the last couple decades. You realize who's making the change. The politicians are the mouthpieces, and it's the people that make it happen. And so, if more people are getting involved, as you said, this platform was created. So many people have created businesses because of what's going on right now. There's a lot of movement happening. And so, all I'm saying is to continue working. There is no milestone by which we can say, okay, we've made it. Let us now
Right.
sit down until all people are made equal, and actually the laws is backing that up. And so what we do right now is come back home from the polls, celebrate if you will, be angry if you will, but you still have to realize that you are a part of this nation, and you have a responsibility to drive
Mhm.
us even further. You have a responsibility with yourself, with your family, with your community, with your city, with your state, with your et cetera, et cetera. You have that responsibility. And so continue to do the work. Do not rely on any president, right, to do it, because the president is a representative of the people. So
Mm-hmm.
no president. I mean, Trump has been one of the presidents that I think probably ignored the teleprompters, right, and
Yeah.
marched by the beat of his own drum. But at the same time, regardless of what it is that he wants to do, we are the people. That is the strength that we have. We are the people, and we are the ones who are in control. A lot of us don't feel like it. A lot of us don't feel like we have power. But hopefully, with the last things that have been going on, we realize that we do have more power than we believe we do. So even if Trump wants to nut up in his last couple days, of course, there are some legal checks and balances that prevent them from going completely crazy, and affecting the country in that way. But, I wouldn't worry so much about what he might do, nor would I worry so much about what Biden might do or might not do. I would be focused on what I'm going to do.
I know that's
What are you going to do?
But
Right? What's your thing?
you want to know what? Like, I think looking at it, the healing portion of it is the empowerment. People came together at different moments of time for different causes, and their voices were heard. That feels good. That heals the soul. That gives you reason to continue, to fight for the cause more. And I'm loving the stuff that I'm seeing. I even out of all the chaos, and like I get riled up sometimes, and I have to stay off of social media because then I start hating people, and then it's not good for me at all. I get to type in is bad. Um but like, just what am I doing for me? Staying focused, staying calm, trying to mind my business while I'm not minding everybody else's. I swear to that. Um and so on and so forth. But I think it's just I think we're starting like some phase of healing.
I
I
wanted to.
agree with that. Yeah.
I was gonna say that, and I'm glad you mentioned it, Ty. So when I met Cash 13 years ago, when I would visit him and we would hang out, he would always watch the news. It would just be, in the background playing all the time. And it was so funny because I would actually start to complain because when I would fall asleep, I would wake up and I'm hearing about bin Laden and the new president, the new Senator Barack Obama, and all types of stuff. It's like, man, he never watches anything except for the news. And that became habitual to me. So I always have the news on currently now. So that was 13 years ago. Moving forward now, the news stays on. And in some room, the news is playing. With that being said, how do we disconnect? Because it's kind of like a double-edged sword. And what I say is this, there are people I met who do not watch the news at all. Because why? As soon as you turn on the news, somebody got died, shot, killed, whatever. And it's just so negative. I don't want it in my system. Leave it alone. But I'm like, wait a second. So what you're telling me is that the zombies were about to attack. You wouldn't know where to go, where to run. You're stupid. But I realize that sometimes now, especially with everything going on, it's like, even the zombie killer needs a break. Like I can't take it. Like, how do we disconnect so we're still in tune with what's going on current, but at the same time, it's just like turn that shit off. I can't. What are the good techniques for disconnecting?
The good technique is just what you said. Turn that shit off. Turn it off. No, seriously, because look, there's a such thing as being overstimulated, and there's a such thing as being desensitized. And we talked about that with the televised murder of George Floyd. We talked about becoming desensitized just in the last couple decades to mass killings and a lot of different things that's going on. And so some people are glued to the television. Some people were 24-hour watch with the elections to see every time another electoral vote was submitted. And the reality is this: if you go to bed and wake up in the morning, you can wake up 2 days later, you still gonna find out who the president elect is. So you're not gonna miss anything when it comes to that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to hide under a rock and you don't know what's going on, but I'm saying there really is not a need for you to stay glued to that television or glued to the social media. Cut it off. Read a book. Watch a movie. Play a. I know you got some old CDs. I know you got a CD. See if you can find a CD player or laptop or computer that still has a drive, and play the CD. If you got a VHS tape, put it on. I mean, take out your coloring book. Remember the time when all the adults were buying the coloring books?
I do like those.
Well, then pull out the coloring book and do a coloring page. Pull out your cookbook and cook. And here's the number one thing that I suggest for people to do in order to unplug: do nothing. Why is it that we feel like we got to produce every moment of our lives? If I'm not doing something, I feel crazy. You feel crazy because you're always doing something. Now, I don't know about you, but eating ain't the rest of the day. So unless you're better than God and you don't need a day of rest, then carry on. But other than that, take a rest. Not doing anything. You don't have to set up a spa day and do your people think that I'm gonna do self-care today. I'm gonna rest. And before you know it, they got 10 hours of things planned. I'm gonna wash my hair, I'm gonna do the conditioner, I'm gonna tint my eyebrows, I'm gonna do my nails, don't do all of that. How about just sit down? Sit down and be with yourself. Now, let me give you a warning, okay? I got to give you guys a warning. I know I'm telling you all to unplug and sit down somewhere, but I've got to warn you about something. And this is what happened for a lot of people during this coronavirus. Not being able to connect in the way that they were able to connect caused a lot of people to sit down and be quiet and listen to the thoughts in their own heads. Right, right. It caused you to take a look at your own self. And so I warn you because this is the time we're talking about healing. This is truly the time to be more introspective, more self-reflective. Get inside of yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing? Are you producing? Are you working? I got to make money. I got to get the bag and build my business. Ask yourself this: what happens when I get the bag? Right? What happens when you get the bag? Let's just pretend, everybody, that you got everything you always wanted. You got money, you got the prestige, right? Everybody knows your name, and you sitting on top of the hill. Now tell me this: what is your everyday like? Well, you're not rushing out to go to work and make money.
It's
So some
lonely.
people would say, "Oh, right, it gets lonely because
It's
now you
lonely
don't realize a
because
lot of people."
what you're doing is work and your focus and those connections, those types of connections outside of straight business, you've lost. You're just
hmm You've lost the ability to socialize because social media has replaced getting together, has replaced getting on the phone, has replaced, we've got all these apps. It's replaced our asking for help from other people. It's replaced our ability to find resources outside of Google, right? We can't even do anything outside of, oh, I'm good. I got everything I need right here on my computer system. But I'm telling you, if you were to unplug that computer system and just sit down with yourself for a moment, just sit there with yourself. Ask yourself, am I proud of me? Am I
they
living my
ask them to
dream?
do some heavy work. Can you like give them a prep course to transition into that? Because
Yes, yes, I
that's
can.
that's
Now listen,
some
I
heavy
can.
work.
No, but listen, this is not something that you can do overnight, right? Because we've been busy all our lives. We've developed this habit of being productive. I mean, from the time we're in school, we're told we got to do our homework, we got to get to the next grade, we got to get a scholarship, we got to get in college, we got to get a good job, we got to get this, we got to get that. Well, when
Right.
are we going to get life? When are we going to get to live? Let me tell y'all something. Life happens now. So this is how we're going to transition. I want all of you listeners, you guys too, I'm going to do it as well. We're all going to take out our papers. We're not waiting until January 1st to start writing down resolutions and making vision boards. Today is the day. Life happens right now. We are going to write down what it is that I need, not what I want, not what I would like to have, but what is it that I need in my life right now? That's the question. Everybody write that down. Everybody write that down. Put that on your as a description in your comments so that your viewers can get this later so that they can do it later. What is it that I need in my life? Make sure you underline need. I don't want you guys writing a list of what you would like to have because that list is long. But I want you to really focus on what is it that you need.
You know what's so
Okay, that's
funny?
that's number one.
You know what's so funny that you said that? The first thing that came to mind when you said that for me is support. And when I think about that, like support, I'm talking about in every aspect. I feel that I'm one person, but I have 30,000 hats. And I cannot do all these hats, but every person is putting up this expectation of myself, like, oh, but I needed this. You didn't cook. You didn't do it. You didn't. I mean, not even as a mom, but just in general. For your regular job, you're not. Oh, did you do the report? Did you do? Like every person pulls from me, and I'm like, this shit is for the birds. Like,
Let me say something about that because what you did right there was a big, big deal. It may have come easy for you to just now share that, but it took you to be vulnerable, number one, for you to even admit that you have a need. That's somebody's pride sometimes getting away, and they can't
Mhm.
even express that they have a need. So this assignment, this little homework I'm giving you all, it's going to be difficult for some people because some people, I don't need nothing. I'm good, right? I'm Gucci. They don't need nothing. But for those of you who can admit and be vulnerable enough to say, I need something. Now listen, Kia, you just said I need support. What's the next step to that? Once you can identify what you need, then you can figure out how to get that need met. So ask yourself, then so the next part would be, okay, what is it that I need? I need support. Well, is what I'm doing right now aligning with that? Is what I'm doing right now, my relationships, my social interactions, is that helping me to get to where I need to be? Hmm? So that means that the people that you spend your time with, the people, oh, look at you shaking your head.
Wait.
But that,
No,
no, but
no.
right? Because
Ahead.
that means that you got to ask yourself, are the people I'm spending my time with, are the activities that I'm busy with, is that supporting my need for support? All that networking you're doing, are you getting support? You go to 6 and 7 networking meetings a week and you don't have one individual you can call and help you fold up some brochures. See? So are you being
Well,
busy
you know what's so
or
funny
are
you
you
say
reaching
that
your
because,
goals?
well, here's the kicker. And you made this statement like 5 seconds ago. You said a lot of people will say, I'm good. You know, I don't need nothing. I'm Gucci. So even though I came and say, yo, I need support, and this is all the different little avenues that I got going on, it's very hard for me to even still say, hey, can you help me? Because in my mind is I got this. You know, I'm gonna do this all on my own, knowing that you can't run a circus on your own. You know, you gotta have different, things.
That's where you have
Knowing
to
that you
start,
can't
though. Like,
live alone.
I'm sorry, Shannett. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right about saying what you were saying. You got to retrain yourself. This is what I want you to do with this piece of paper, because you're going to see it come alive. When you write down what you need, all the lies you've been telling yourself about your good, it's going to be right there in front of your face. The mask that you wear at your job, that you got it all, and the mask that we wear at home with our spouses
And
and our
crying
kids.
all up on the unfiltered page. We don't cry
Wait
on
a minute.
unfiltered.
Wait a minute. Can you just like hold that emotion so I could just read some comments really quick?
Please.
So,
I'm sorry.
oh, wait, cousin. I'm sorry. We're laughing. I'm sorry that it's. I hear you saying that like you feel overwhelmed and you have a lot going on and you're being pulled.
No. I suffer from anxiety, so it doesn't help it because I get overwhelmed a lot. Now I'm not saying I can't. I've accomplished a lot in my life, starting from wow, she's a homeless kid all the way up to here, But with that being said, I feel like I carry so much weight on me, and I cannot divvy it up. And even if somebody's like, yo, I can help you carry that weight, I'm like, no, I got it. And maybe it's because I'm used to it. I don't know.
Listen, and not, this is the whole direct thing, but you have to get to a point where, and I know you are, because you and I talk, and again, like really growing and stuff, but that responsibility is on your shoulders. Yes, it is on your shoulders, and you have to figure out how you're going to be able to make it work. That's going to make it easier for you. You have to figure out how to ask for help, and the people start slow, like, or small, by someone. For me, for instance, and like the conversations that Key and I have, I'm very open, so I will flat out and ask her, what is it that you need? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you not feel comfortable with? But I'm there in my life to be aware, to try to get that information out of you. But you also have to give people something.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to know to pull from you. And then you might, become resentful because it's like your needs are not being paid attention to, which that's not the case. You have to figure out how to articulate it.
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right now, it's like, not that you're throwing that responsibility on other people, but that's what we do. We throw it on
Well, I wanna say another thing too that Kia said, and this happens with a lot of people. We do exactly the opposite. We do not throw any responsibility. I mean, this is what we're talking about. We are super women, right? We don't. I got this, right? And so we don't ask for help. We don't throw the responsibility on anyone. We feel guilty when someone does help us. And so what we really need to do is be honest with ourselves. What's going to happen if you don't wash the dishes tonight? Are the police coming to lock you up? Is
Right.
BCW, the Bureau of Child Welfare, or what is it called? Whatever it's called, are they coming
Mhm.
to take your children because you have dishes in your sink? So a lot of times, this responsibility that we're burdened with is not responsibility that we actually have. Nobody said you had to make a 5-course meal and have your house white glove clean and serve the board in the community and take the kids to soccer. And nobody said you had to do it all. But you told yourself, hey, we're going back to you. You told yourself that I have to do it all. You told yourself that if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. Well, guess what? That's not the truth. If you don't wash them dishes today, nobody's going to die.
Mhm.
Nobody's, and so we overwhelm ourselves with the belief that I have to do it, I have to do it. But really, we've got to retrain ourselves. Is this
Mhm.
something that I need? Go back to your list. Do I need for these dishes to be washed tonight? Or do I need to go lie down because I got a busy day tomorrow?
Right.
I need to go
And,
lie down.
but and like what you said on top of that, Miss Shannett, is doing that inner work of self-awareness. What are things that you're doing that are toxic for yourself? How
Right,
can you adjust them? Sometimes I've been in a place where I was very toxic for myself and the people around me. And I really had to do some deep shadow work. And let me tell you, it was not the easiest thing to do, to face myself, but I learned a lot and I'm still growing and it feels good, that for me, that ascension. But wait. So for our viewers, if you're on, please press the like button. That helps us, grow our channel. So we should see some likes going on. But we had from Liz Carter, from the earlier conversations, I need peace. Peace is missing, is the missing piece. My dad, I don't know who you were referring to. You choose it, so stop, and then be the queen you are. When you make you, some things come with it. Ooh.
Well, I was going to say a lot of times also, I know you said retrain the way we think, Shannett. It's easier said than done. I also can say that as I grow, I realize that we do have to change the people we socialize with. And what I mean by that is, if I'm like, you know what, I have a heavy load that I have to deal with, and let me divvy out some things. It could be something as simple as, I have a birthday party coming up. Can you pick up the birthday cake and then you do this? You're putting out these tasks for people, but this person is so slow. They be pussyfooting around so long. And you be like, my God, can you move with a purpose? And it's kind of like, instead of complaining and doing these things, let me just do it myself. Cause I know I'm going to do it the way I want it to do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, with my own little issue for myself, I'm not going to talk about
You,
myself no more. Perfection. No, I am a perfectionist. When I deliver, I want to deliver appropriately. I want to make sure that things are where they need to be. And behind the
so let me
closed
cut you
door,
off real quick. Let me cut you off real quick because I know we're running low on time, and I really want to say this. I want to say this because you're not the only one who's feeling like this and who's thinking like this. And the reality is, some people do not have anyone to support them. Some people don't have anyone they can call and can you do this for me and actually have the task successfully done. So the reality is, I get that, right? But this is what I'm saying. I'm saying be real with yourself. If you know Aunt Janie can't cook, don't ask her to help with dinner. If you know Uncle Tim ain't good with the kids, don't ask him to pick them kids up. I mean, like you said, if you know so and so is not good with the money, don't ask them to do your
yeah.
books for you, right? So you want to make sure that you're not tricking yourself. Don't trick yourself. A lot of our disappointment, a lot of our letdowns comes because we continue to lie to ourselves. We want to count on people because we want to count on them, and we already know that those are not people that we can count on. So now it's time, and you said that it's time to start branching out and getting some new friends. It's
Yeah.
time to start getting some new supports. We don't have to stay in the same situation that we've been in just because we've been in it. You want something different, you need a change, then that means you need to do something different. It is very hard to do. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's hard to do, but you can do it one step at a time. You can do it.
And that's for all the audience out there, not me.
Look,
Yeah,
this is
April
for all
Kelly
of us. This is
has
for all
so
of us.
true. I guess she got a clan. I just want to highlight her.
No, it says I got this plan.
Oh, I got this clan. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I heard one of your viewers also say something about needing peace and wanting peace. Let me tell you, everybody is looking for something, and everybody wants a whole bunch of stuff. But you got to focus on the thing that you need, because these are the things that's the difference between life and death. Right? When we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we think that we need food and shelter and safety, right? And then we go up the ladder and we need to belong somewhere and we need a sense of purpose and all those things. But guess what? All of those needs go down to whether or not we can get those needs met. If you don't know what it is that you need, you're not able to get those needs met. If you don't know how to express that you have a need, you're not going to be able to get those needs met. So the first thing you want to do is be able to identify that you have a need. Y'all better do y'all homework. Y'all better get y'all paper out and write down, what is it that I need in my life right now? And that's just the start. That's just the start.
Yeah,
But we'll
I
keep on working.
already know.
We're going to work this thing.
Yeah. See, I knew there was a reason why you started this off like that with that was like you had a very random like scenarioed question. I knew that just didn't come out of anywhere. Are you feeling any better? You still bothered?
No. I mean, it all kind of ties into when I asked the question about just unplugging, because I seen one of the comments that Liz had mentioned, like she does, constantly watch the news. I mean, it's a thing. And but it's so funny because I'm blaming on our personalities. We're both Geminis. We're stimulated mentally. We always need to be in the know. I need to know before you. I don't get in people's business like I used to, but,
Right.
no, I keep it real. But I need to know, like, oh, so you do that on the side. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Just to put me on. But with that being said, I'm used to, they call me when I was in the office, they would call me CNN at work because I would constantly know the news. I'm always I remember telling people about COVID and they looking at me like, what in the world are you talking about?
So is that your addiction or the news?
I can say being in knowing stuff would be my addiction. I have to be able to always be real. What's this new stuff? Oh, you didn't get this? That's me.
Well,
And I
let me
know
say
that
something about addiction real quick, right? Just real quick, because a lot of people might agree. They might say, "Well, I watch the news all the time. Am I addicted too? Is that what that means?" Well, really, we're talking about when you do something and you continue to do it despite knowing that there are negative consequences, right? So this is more along the lines of addiction when we're talking about it in that way.
Right.
And so if you know that watching the news is causing your anxiety to go through the roof, if you know that it's increasing your stress levels, if you know that it's breaking your concentration or you're not able to focus, then and you continue to watch the news, then there might be something that there is a problem with. And I say, if there's a problem, let's get to the bottom of it. Right? Let's get to the bottom of it. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, if it doesn't line up with what your needs are, then let's get to the bottom of it and let's figure out what we need to do. There is something you can do about everything. We don't have to just accept that this is the way I am anymore. We can change it. So good job, guys. Good job.
So right now we are in the first week, maybe second week in November. And we have 1 month and a couple of weeks left. And then we'll be at the end of the year. Do you feel what homework and tools, Shannett, do you feel that would be great for an individual who's just saying, you know what, let me try to revamp what's been going on. Let me see how, where I fit in this puzzle piece of madness in 2020. What are some good tools? I know a lot of times when I talk to you, you're get that pen and paper out and get the writing. And it's always good to have that visual, information in front of you. But what would you suggest, because like you said, doing the resolutions before the New Year's pops up, because a lot of times I from what I'm hearing, statistically, people don't even follow what the resolutions are.
That is true. And the reason people don't follow resolutions is because they're saying what they want. They're not focused on what they need. They're focused on what they want. I want to lose me some weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. But they're not focusing on what they need. If what you need in terms of losing weight is to get to the bottom of why you overeat, then you got to ask yourself, is going to the gym helping me get to the bottom of why I overeat? You'll realize the answer is no. And you'll find out that that's why your last 3 years of gym membership has not helped you to lose weight. Hey guys, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's what we got to do. We got to, so that's what we have to do. We got to kind of change the way we used to do things, because if we do the same thing that we've always done, we'll get the same result that we've always gotten, right? So we got to do something different. So instead of focusing on what we want, this time we're going to focus on what we need. We're going to reevaluate what we're doing and determine whether or not what we're doing is helping us to get to where we're trying to go. Right. And then here's another thing that people can do, right? And this is real easy. Take a moment tonight, right? I'm talking about, don't wait till tomorrow, don't wait till the new year. Take a moment tonight and assess yourself. Ask yourself, what do I add to the world?
I love that. Yes.
Ain't that good? Ain't that good? See, that's the meat and the potatoes right there. I give y'all the meat and potatoes.
Gravy.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So that is what you do. You ask yourself, what is it that I add to the world? Once you're able to answer that, you might say, well, I don't have any talent. You might say, I don't have any money, but I guess I'm a good friend. Then okay. Then that means that you can add to the world. Go out there and be somebody's friend.
And can I just say that revisiting that frequently is good, because you can always add more somewhere. So it's again, like it's you adding the friendship, and then there's something else you can add. I noticed each of us have so many different qualities that we don't even recognize.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, Ty. I'm saying to go ahead and share your light with the world. Everybody's special, right? Each one of us are special. Everybody's got something wonderful. And you might say, oh, nobody's going to like this, but somebody. It might just be one, but that's enough. You're adding to the world. So that's what you do. You add something to the world. Then you say, well, you know what? I want to learn something new. Then learn something new and add some more things to the world. But when I say with regard to this debriefing that we need to reevaluate from an individual level, right? And then I said, from a family level and a community level and coming out in that sense to the system. But this is where it starts. It really starts with ourselves and saying, how can I add to the world? And doing that, right? Not just sitting there with it, right? What good is your gift in your house? What good is it that you've got a talent in your space? You're the best cook in the world, but you never cook for anybody, so then we don't get it.
And on top of what can you add to the world, but what can I also add and acknowledge within myself first before I try to give that? We have to learn it first. Like
Ty, you're right. We've got to learn who we are, and that's what time it is now, right? What time is it? It's time to we've looked at what's going on in the world. It's time to look inside of ourselves. Who am I? Who am I?
I wanted to add something to that, and I think I mentioned in some other conversations that we've had. I think who we socialize with is so key. So while you're doing this self-evaluation, the contemplation, the meditation of who am I, how am I contributing to the world, you have to take a look at your surroundings and see how is your energy being shared and who's even, in that circle of yours. A lot of times we kind of, put that to the side, and maybe because of the relationship we've had with that person. Oh, that's just, oh, crazy, Uncle Louie or my neighbor or whoever that person is to you. But that does matter. People will drain that energy. You'll sit in your
Yeah,
circle, realize like, wait a second now, why am I the smartest
this is
person
not
in my,
working out. So,
yeah,
so then, Kia, you know what people have to do? People have to, as they are reassessing and reassessing themselves, really, how am I adding to the world? And also, how are the people around me adding to my life? Because I always say this, and everybody knows me, knows I'm going to say this: if you're not adding to my life, you are taking away. You're taken away from, right? Because think about it. It doesn't have to be, people think about materialistic things. It doesn't have to be anything tangible. But if you can't call me with a laugh, with a joke, with encouragement to uplift me and to add to my life in some way, shape, form, or fashion, then that means that you're taking away, because a relationship is an exchange. And so that means that I'm giving and you're taking, but you're not giving me anything that I can take, right? And so those kind of relationships I would reevaluate, and then I would restructure that. I
let's go
would
to
change
one.
that thing around.
I'm gonna go to one comment real quick. It says here, freely commenting. Also, if we're really interested in personal change, we have to learn how to ask and be open to the right questions and to the concern, need, or situation. Definitely true. Definitely true. It's so interesting that we were talking about just the self reflection, because in order for us guys to be a better you going into this crazy, the new norm of 2020, because a lot of people's like, oh my god, the end of the year, I'm so happy it's almost over. Woo! No. It's not going back to 1999. It's not going back to the year 2005. It's going to, as we talked about, the calm before the storm. It's going into a new different thing. Things are still developing new. Oh Jesus, that's a whole nother topic within itself. So we have to be able to learn how to adapt. But where do we fit into this new atmosphere that we're being presented? How does it all make sense? And what peers are we going in? How are we socializing? Like I said, we need to have a strong support system. We need to be able to add to their support system as well. These are times where we need each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And yeah, there may be
Yeah.
friendships now that the elections are going on. You're like, well, wait a second now, Amanda, you done said some stuff I don't like anymore, so we may have to evaluate those relationships. But at the same time, we actually could be building some relationships too, because I never really reached out to you and understood your perspective and vice versa. So we have to be able to be open and respectable. A lot of times, you say something and people already kind of angry. So much anger out there. I'm like, yo, chill, shorty, just chill, just chill, just chill. I wasn't coming at you like that. I was trying to say it like this, let me reiterate and just take that time. If you want to, if you can, Shannett, leave us with some good homework. You love to give me homework.
I do. I love to give homework because I believe that it's not enough for us to be open to new things, and it's not enough for us, once we've been exposed to a new thing, to try it out. It's important for us to practice and to make that practice into a habit. It's taken us many years to become the way that we are, right? And it's going to take for us to consistently practice this new thing. So I'm saying, I'm serious about that paper and pen. What is it that I need in my life right now? What is it that I'm adding to the world? Those are the two things that I say to do for the viewers, for all of us to do. And then let's look at that list. And as you said, Ty, let's revisit that. Let's reassess. Like, are the people in my life adding to my life? This is what people are worried about. What if I make these changes, and then I have no one? What if I cut off my old crew and then I'm by myself out here with no one? Well, what you just said, Kia, was perfect. The reality is that we have an opportunity to build new relationships. How do we do that? If we focus on what it is that we need, we'll run into people who are also focusing on what it is that they need, and we'll be able to get our needs met together. Okay, so that is what I want to share. Do that homework. I'm interested in hearing what your viewers have to say about that homework and what they discovered about themselves while doing that self reflection. So please share with me some of those comments that are coming in, because I want to know what people are saying out there.
No, definitely. And as usual, you're a part of the Mothers Unfiltered family.
Yeah, she
So,
is.
so it's crazy because we'll have the whole lineup like, okay, we're gonna do this for this day, this for this day, and then all of a sudden, boom, something crazy happens in the world, and I'm like, oh, we need Shannett to kind of help us figure this shit out. It's madness.
Yep.
So I definitely believe, since the world has been being set off like a firecracker, we definitely will bring you back as usual. You are a part of. You're what makes Mothers Unfiltered
Thank you.
great. You don't have to be a mother
Oh no, thank you
show.
so
You
kindly. Thank
don't have
you.
to be a mother to
You
watch
guys
this
are doing it.
show, but you definitely get the premise of the show. The premise of the show was just for us to have a simple conversation with perspectives and understanding, and to be able to teach and learn. And it's interesting. You say, that self-evaluation, who am I to the world? I'm a mother that's unfiltered. And I want to be able to give to people and say, hey, I just learned something from Ty today. Wow, that was amazing. Oh, Shannett told me, let me do this damn homework. I know you're going to call me and ask about it. Or no, let me not answer the phone today. I'll call you tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I really, really appreciate everything that you do and all the insight that you give. Ty, you want to say something?
I'm just I'm I don't even know like really what to say. I have a lot of emotion, but positive emotion. I try to see the positive. I know that there's a lot going on, but I'm just at a point in my life where I've done a lot of self-reflection, and I try to see things as a whole, not look at it in little pockets, and understand that I'm going to change every day because circumstances change every day. So I have to learn how to adjust and keep that balance within myself, and to keep myself accountable. And I see others doing the same, but just we thank you guys. We love you guys. If you didn't hit the like button, just hit the like button, and just please be safe.
Yeah. You want to take us home, Shannett? Last words?
Okay, last words is this. I love the fact that we as a people are becoming more transparent. We're sharing our thoughts and we're sharing our emotions. I want to thank both of you guys today for sharing your emotions with your audience. That's not easy to do, but it's necessary to do. This is the thing that I'm talking about. What is it that you need? You need to express yourself. You are important, you are valuable, and how you feel actually matters. So I'm saying to everybody who can hear my voice, make sure that you know who you are, right? And if you are scared, say that. I'm scared. If you are angry, say that. I'm angry. Be honest with who you are, and be honest about what it is that you need, and you'll find that your needs will be met, and you'll be able to do it in a way that's healthy for you and people around you.
Yay.
So
Well,
thank you
thank you.
guys for having me. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you once again. If you've already have liked and subscribed, please share and tell everybody else to like and subscribe so we can grow and have more wonderful guests come on. Next week, we do have a special guest coming, an award-winning chef that has aired on the Food Network. And it's going to be great because Thanksgiving is coming up. And
Yes.
there's some people who think they
Yes.
can cook and they don't know a damn thing about cooking. But no, it's definitely going to be good. So we'll be promoting that shortly. So you'll see that on the page. But I love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.